But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the
shirt. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with the normal setup for the 9x9. Rob is unfortunately back in Chicago, and I am home here in Toronto. My name is Everett. That, as always, is Mr. Rob Sinclair. This is the 9x9, the 81 square meters of the best volleyball content on the internet. And first and foremost, I think we need to give you guys a really big thank you to everyone who was watching and who was participating, who was in the chats and on the Discord and everything while we were at VNL Ottawa this past week. It was really awesome to see just how much engagement we were getting and how many people were watching along and how many people were at the venue come and say hi to us, take pictures with us, and telling us you like the show. So it was really awesome. I know it was for me. I don't know about Rob.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it was by far the best week in the Volleyball Source channel's history, and I loved it. I loved given that week the coverage that we thought it deserved. I loved meeting a bunch of the fans. I loved everyone's comments on all the YouTube videos. I think in terms of quality and quantity of uploads, it was by far the best week we've ever had. Yeah, all the comments on all the interviews have been great, on all the live shows that we did. It's been awesome, and I mean, what is it, Thursday? Yeah, we got home on Monday, and I'm still catching up on sleep for that week. It was quite the week, but it's good to be back in our normal setup, and we're kind of going to be watching the rest of VNL, men's and women's, the same as the rest of you guys from afar.
Yeah, it was quite the week. Not a lot of hours sleep. I think the amount of beers drank definitely surpassed the amount of hours slept.
That would actually be a very good thing to count up, and it would be a toss-up. That would be a tricky one to figure out. What a week!
It was definitely a long week. Can't wait for it for next year. Ottawa does have a 3-year deal. This was year 2. They will be back next year. We just have to see if it's the women or the men, because if the men get relegated, then they won't be in VNL anymore. So it will just be the women, and that's what we're here about right now, Rob, as week 2 of the women are going on right now. One is in Hong Kong and the other one is in Brasilia. So you got 2 very opposite ends of the world going on right now for the VNL.
Completely, yeah. So we're jumping back into it. We're jumping back into the women's. We're about halfway through week 2, and we're in the middle of this is actually a very nice time for the show. I know it's nice for our European viewers that are actually awake for once when we're doing the 9x9, and it's also right in the middle of, it's after the Hong Kong matches and before the Brasilia matches. So let's first talk about who's where. In Hong Kong right now, we've got Italy, Bulgaria, the Netherlands, Turkey, Canada, Poland, the Dominican Republic, and China, of course. And then in Brasilia, we've got Japan, Serbia, Germany, Thailand, Brazil, Korea, the United States, and Croatia. And I mean, we're right back into it. It's basically the midway point right about now of the women's VNL preliminary round, and we're starting to figure out like legitimately who's who, and the playoff picture is starting to come into play just a little bit. It certainly will by Sunday after week 2 is over and everyone's played 8 matches. Then we'll have a pretty decent idea of who is likely to make the playoffs and who's not. But we're gonna jump into all the matches that have happened. We've got all of Tuesday, all of Wednesday, and half of Thursday's matches to catch up on. And as we get into those, we'll talk about sort of the teams and what rosters they brought and the differences in strategy from week 1. And then we'll take a look at the standings towards the end of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should just jump right into it now with what's gone on so far. Both your USA women and my Canada women are in action at different locations, though. Women are in Brasilia and Canada's in Hong Kong.
Yep, that's right. And both got things kicked off on Tuesday this week. Canada, close sets, but unfortunately they were 3-donged by China. Let's see, 25-14, 25-18, but then 29-27 in the third. China actually looks really good.
China does look really good, yeah.
And then
we almost pushed it to a fourth.
Almost.
It was
Yeah.
it was close to being pushed to a fourth. We had a couple of set points. Unfortunately, we weren't able to pull it away in that one. But I thought it was a decent showing against. Right, China looks really good right now. I definitely underestimated them coming into this VNL.
Me too. Yeah, they without Zhu Ting, without Di Yao, I thought that they were gonna like make the playoffs and lose in the first round, as we've kind of been used to. But no, this is a team that might potentially have medal aspirations, and I definitely wouldn't have picked that coming in. Li Yingying has been their best offensive player by far, 13 for 28 against Canada, which is pretty good. Solid in reception. And just elsewhere across the board, I mean, they hit 40% as a team. They had 5 aces, only 9 service errors. Like it's kind of like the dynastic Chinese teams under Lang Ping when she was coaching that were just really rock solid everywhere, never gave away points for free, and got good performances from just kind of everybody. And even though they lack a superstar, I think Li Yingying is close and definitely close enough. And
I think if she played in a European league and if we saw more of her, she would be considered a superstar. Maybe not a superstar, but like she would be considered within that conversation with the other players. But realistically, we only see her during national team season because it's hard to see anything in China.
Right. And yeah, there aren't that many. I'm not even sure I can think of a left-handed outside hitter in the women's game other than her. I mean, we've got a handful of them on the men's side that are easy to name, but I can't think of a left-handed female outside hitter off the top of my head right now. Can you?
No.
Yeah. It's
No.
a very, very interesting play style.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's not something that I. Yeah, no. There's not really. She's really truly the only left-handed outside hitter.
Yeah, as far as I know. So looking at Canada for a second, 22% efficiency as a team is not very good, 12 unforced errors, and only 4% perfect passing. That is quite bad, but I do think that's like inflated by those first 2 sets that weren't close at all. The third one was obviously better, had a chance to steal it, didn't quite go your way, but I think the Canadian girls turned that momentum into the match overnight this past basically this morning in Hong Kong, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's worth, like, while we're here, what we're going to do is like talk about the rosters of the teams and their choices for week 2, kind of while we're talking about the matches. For China, it's identical, exact same 14 players week 2 versus week 1. And for Canada, the very notable change is that Kiara Van Rijk is back, and that is great news. Also, you get Alicia Ogums in the middle, and then a different backup setter and a different backup libero. But clearly, Kiara Van Rijk, the most impactful change in the roster this week.
Yeah, some good moves here from Canada. I really like Quinn Pellin coming in from MRU, so she's going to be making impact. It's really interesting to see that they brought Quinn Pellin instead of maybe someone like Avery Allard. And Avery, of course,
I was wondering that too.
Yeah, she signed with Monza this year, so she had some time. She had some time to play professionally and play with one of the top teams in the world. You know, suit for Champions League games, suit for the Scudetto finals, which went to 5. And instead, they went with Quinn Pellin. She had a very, very good year at NRU, but it was interesting to see that they picked her. And then Ariel Pluro was on this roster last year for the World Championship, so that's not surprising. And I mean, all 3 of the libero prospects, and even Karina Georgiadis, the 4th, have all been in school, so they're all kind of the same age and coming in the same situation. So it's interesting to see how there's a little bit of rotation right now for the Canadian team.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Canada's match versus Bulgaria in a few minutes. But anything else about the China loss? I do think that like playing them tight in the 3rd set was at least an emotional victory.
Yeah, for sure. I think China is ultimately just a team that we don't match up with well. They serve really well. They pass well. They have good ball control. They just don't really get into, and they're very skilled. You know, from what I've seen from China, they're very, very skilled, and they don't really get into too much of the other stuff. You know, just like Argentina for the men, China for the women is a bad matchup for us.
Okay. So elsewhere on Tuesday, day 1 of this week of the women's, we saw Poland beat the Dominican Republic in Hong Kong 3-1. Poland continuing their undefeated start to VNL, starting off 5-0 with that Dominican Republic win. Close match, 25-23, 30-28, 23-25, and then Poland ran away from it in the 4th. Still no Joanna Wołosz for Poland. She's back at home She's a little bit banged up. I mean, she played a million-year-long club season with Caneliano this year. But Magdalena Stysiak, great as usual, 23 for 49 attacking. Pretty good offensive numbers overall for Poland. I do really like Katarzyna Winerska at the setter spot. I think she's a perfectly good secondary setter. Let's see, who else contributed for them statistically? Olivia Rozansky started it outside, played well, 17 for 35, 14 blocks as a team for Poland against the Dominican Republic. And that is a blocking matchup that I think makes sense. The Dominican Republic's offense is slow and predictable, and you're just going to have to do a disciplined job blocking against high balls against their big bangers and all the wings. And it looks like Poland did a good job of that. Not going to claim that I watched this match at like 3 a.m. in Hong Kong. So we're just looking at stat sheets. But yeah, that's my take on this one. Wow, 25 total errors attacking for Dominican Republic, 14 blocked and 11 unforced. That is not great.
Yeah, no, definitely not great. But man, Poland looks good right now.
They do.
They really do it, and especially without Joanna Voloj, like you're doing it without your top setter. Is Poland's this year's Serbia? That's kind of what I'm
interesting
right
question.
Now. We'll talk about Serbia in a little bit because they did their first match, I guess, or earlier. But Poland looks really, really good right now. It's I think they're building really well off of last year's World Championship performance, where I thought they were really solid.
Yeah, because I mean, last year they were not good at all at VNL, like they not even in the top 10. And then at the World Championship, when they were playing part of it at home, they really figured it out and actually almost made that final 6, final 4, whatever the hell the format of that tournament was. Yeah, Poland really good last year, and I agree. They've parlayed it into a good start to the VNL for sure. Could they be this year's Serbia and like come out of nowhere to medal? I'm still a little iffy on that one because as we'll talk about some rosters, there still are some B teams even playing week 2 on the women's side, which I'm a little surprised by. But as for Poland, really the only player they're missing is the best setter on the planet. And when they get her, they're honestly going to get even better. Dominican Republic roster-wise, they get Brenda Castillo back, who is one of the best liberos in the world. That's going to certainly help their passing numbers. Already looking at the stats from this one, she helped their passing numbers. She was by far their best receiver, but Poland did a good job of not serving her as much. She had the least passing attempts of the 3 primary receivers on the Dominican Republic side. And I think that's a good matchup for Poland. They are disciplined enough and big enough to serve the ball well and put up gigantic blocks against high balls on the wings. And I would have picked Poland to win that match 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're one of the biggest teams on the women's side.
Yeah, they're huge. Really,
Magdalena Stysiak is definitely one of the biggest opposites we have. And then, you have Korneluk and others in the middle. So they're a big team. And I think that's honestly why Canada matches up well against them. Because we're able to play against those bigger teams.
Yeah, so I think that's about all there is to say about Poland versus DR from Tuesday. Let's switch to the Brazil games from Tuesday. The United States beat Croatia 3-1. When we lost that first set 25-17, I was a little confused, a little scared. Didn't really know what was going on there. But we made some pretty significant lineup changes after that. I mean, we started Ashley Evans and Danielle Coutinho at setter and opposite. That did not go well in set 1. Then we put in Micah Hancock, Jordan Thompson, and everything changed for the better. We also saw Asia O'Neal the second half of the match, Khalil Lanier and Ali Franti on the left sides. And after we put some of those players in, we took care of Croatia, no problem. If we hadn't gotten 3 points in that match, that would have been a big problem. But 25-22, 25-18, 25-15 the rest of the way. So potentially a dodged bullet there for my United States women. Honestly, not that much to talk about here. Croatia, exact same roster as week 1. Still no Samantha Fabris. They are going to struggle mightily, looking like the team that's going to be relegated right now.
I mean, them or Bulgaria, really. It's really a toss-up between those two teams. And you're right. I mean, looking at these stats, like Jordan Thompson had herself a game. Breon Butler was really, really good in the middle. And the Ali Franti too was one of those few players who played all the way through. She was 15 for 31. Are we worried at all about no Kathleen Plummer, or is this kind of what we're coming to expect with the USA women's national team now and kind of settling into the fact that she may not be a starter or maybe one of the first ones off the bench for this team.
Yeah, she's on the roster and she played in 3 of the 4 sets. So she was a serving sub in sets 2, 3, and 4. I think that I don't take any major lineup conclusions from a match against Croatia. Like, Croatia is a bottom of the barrel team. What we see the rest of the week from the United States, including tonight, who do we play tonight? I think Thailand. That's going to be a little more indicative, and that actually might be a decent matchup for Plummer to play some minutes. So we've got a lot of outside hitters. We've got a lot of outside hitters and a lot of questions to answer about a lot of those outside hitters. So we're going to see a lot of people, and I'm not worried. I'm not going to draw any major conclusions from the first 5 matches yet.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, moving forward, Serbia finally getting on the board.
Finally.
with a win. And I mean, interestingly enough that they do it against a team like Japan, because Japan, in my eyes, is usually one of those teams. When you look at the stats of this one, once again, not one that I watched, kind of been on a bit of a volleyball detox since Ottawa, Rob.
I think that's more than fair.
Other than the Canada-China game yesterday or the day before that I was able to wake up and watch. The stats from this one would suggest that it was maybe a bit of a sloppy game, which is a little surprising for Japan. Only 27% efficiency for Japan, which is almost unheard of for them.
Right, yeah, Japan doesn't play sloppy games, but 14 of those were Serbian blocks, and that is an advantage that Serbia should have in theory. One of the breakout players in this tournament so far has been Aleksandar Uzelac. They're Serbia's, I guess I would call her the 3rd outside hitter behind Busha and Lozo, but like Busha didn't start this one. Lozo got the yank after like midway through set 1. So Uzelac, I think, is like 19, maybe 20 years old. And she's been probably Serbia's best player through 5 matches. And I mean, like we talked about in week 1, they went 0-4 to start the Gudetti era, which was not good at all. But Uzelac was great against Japan. 21 for 46, 37% efficiency is very good. Serbia gets Jovana Stevanovic back this week, who's one of the best middles in the world. She casually goes 10 for 19 with 2 blocks and an ace. But they don't bring Bojana Durca. They don't bring their world championship starting setter. That one confused me a little bit. So maybe Gudetti identified that as a bit of a problem in week 1 and wanted to get some more people a look at the setter position. I don't totally know, but this was almost a must-win game for Serbia. If they start 0-5, they're probably on the outside looking in at the playoffs.
Not only like outside looking into the playoffs, but I haven't checked in a while, but I wonder how much of a hit the world ranking has taken.
That's a great question. I'm going to look at that right now.
Yeah. Also, it's fun. Just as like kind of on the Serbia topic, I've been very active in TikTok comments because people being like, "Is this the greatest generation for Serbian athletes? You've got Nikola Jokic and you've got Novak Djokovic who have been going off." And I was like, guys, we can't forget about Tijana Boskovic in here. Right, and the 2-time defending world champion women's volleyball team. So yeah, it might be one of the best generations for Serbian sports.
Yes, but they had to figure it out after starting 0-4 at VNL in like a world championship defense. So that wasn't a good look, but they have since figured it out. So we talked about some of Serbia's roster changes this week. Japan basically the same. Mayu Ishikawa is back. They get a couple other middle blocker options back. Still no Fukudome at libero, but Serena Koga Nishida was their primary offensive player this time. Only 19 for 48 and 6 errors. Not her best game. Katona Hayashi started at, what is that? It must be opposite, right? Yeah, Hayashi started at opposite. 12 for 33 only is not so good. Arisa Inoue 16 for 40, not quite so good. So just kind of an off day all around for the Japanese offense, maybe, and not really concerning for them. I'm sure they'll figure it out. And let's see, they play Korea tonight in Brazil. That should be an easy 3-dong. So they'll be just fine.
Not to mention passing. Like they've only passed 17% perfect, which for some teams, Canada, that would be fantastic. But for Japan, you're just even this stereotype of being one of the best ball control teams in the world, you expect that to be a little bit higher, at least for 20%, at least.
Yeah, that should be better. Serving, let's see, 6 aces, 13 errors for Japan, 4 aces, 10 errors for Serbia. Nothing really that lopsided there. But close game, back and forth. It was actually none of the set scores were even that close. That's weird. Like
Yeah.
nobody got within 5, like 25-16, 25-20, 25-16, 25-20, 15-10. Weird match. Yeah, I wish it would have been at a time when I could watch it a little bit more. But yeah, Serbia needed a win. They got one. And I think that's kind of it for Tuesday's games.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving right along to Wednesday's games. The other 8 teams got their second week underway. Italy, with a very similar B team to what we saw week 1, 3-donged Bulgaria. Turkey 3-donged the Netherlands. Those were both over in Hong Kong. And then Germany beat Thailand 3-1 in Brazil. And Brazil obviously was going to 3-dong Korea at home. So let's kind of talk about Italy, Bulgaria. Bulgaria's bad, just straight up. And Italy, I'm very curious about their strategy because this is the second week in a row they've rolled out a B team. They have a different second setter and a different second libero. Like those are their 4th setter and libero in the depth chart, in my opinion. And everybody else this week was the same. And I don't really understand that because they're like, if you play your B team 2 out of the 3 weeks of the preliminary round, you're probably going to miss the playoffs. So I don't totally know what Italy's doing here.
I almost wonder if for these European teams, VNL just isn't as important because of how important Eurovolley is. You know, like the reality is that Norceca champs for Norwegian teams or even Asian champs or, the Asian team, just kind of a secondary thought.
True.
Just because the depth isn't there. But the reality for the, Eurovolley is that it's legitimate competition. And that might be some of the focuses for some of these teams.
Yeah, it could be, but you got to think about world rankings too. Like Italy lost a bunch of world ranking points in week 1. Like they lost 14 points for losing to Poland. They lost 13 points for losing to Turkey. And I'm only picked up 2 for 3-donging a bad team like Bulgaria. So they are 4th in the world only because Serbia's dropped down. There's something going on with the Volleyball World website right now. It's taking 5 million years to load. So it finally gave me the most updated rankings. Serbia has dropped a lot. They've dropped down a lot. They're all the way down to 5th. So I'm Brazil, the new number 1 team in the world on the women's side. But anyway, yeah, Italy got to keep a very close eye on Italy this week with their wins and their potential world ranking, but also making the playoffs. So obviously they're going to 3-dong Bulgaria, and maybe that's part of their strategy. They're like, yeah, okay, we can roll out whoever we want. We'll still beat Bulgaria, no problem. But none of the usual suspects. No Pietrini, no Bossetti. No Egonu. Obviously, we're not going to see her this VNL, but no Antropova is a bummer. No Oro at setter. No Kirikella. No Lubian. No.
I wonder if they're just looking at the teams they're playing. Like they have Bulgaria. They already beat the Dominican Republic. Their next game after that is the Netherlands, which we know is kind of a team in work. And then the other only one other than that is China. Right. So I think that they're looking at this schedule almost and being like, hey, we can get at least 2 out of 2 wins, and now probably 3 out of 1 that they're able to take down the Dominican Republic as well.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking about the USA in week 1 is like you take a look at the schedule. Like we had Korea, who was an easy win, and then 3 tough teams. And so like you send a B team, see what you can get out of them, and we ended up going 4-0, which was sweet. But yeah, that's sort of the chess match that some of these coaches and these national federations are going to have to go through. So we don't need to talk about Bulgaria at all. They stink. They could get relegated. Netherlands were 3-donged by Turkey. The Netherlands kind of brought out all the guns that they could. Celeste Plok is back. Nika Dalderop is back. Let's see. Britt Barngart's setter is back, although Sarah Van Allen's been getting the starts, and I kind of agree with that. She's looked pretty good. Still wasn't good enough against Turkey deep into overtime in set 1, but then 25-21, 25-15 the rest of the way. Let's see. Abra Karakart started at opposite this one. I'm looking through some stats, and she was good. 12 for 25, 40% efficiency is excellent. Zara Gunesh really good in the middle. Ada Erdem was unbelievable, 8 for 9, plus 3 blocks and an ace. Hande Baladin was good on the left, 10 for 20, 45% efficiency. That's outstanding. And yeah, Turkey is better than the Netherlands. I think that's pretty clear. There's not that much to say about this match.
I think one of the most interesting things from this match, and just from all of Turkey's matches so far, is that battle between Karakurt and Vargas. I mean, Vargas got 9 points coming off the bench in this one. She was 7 for 13 in using that, what I'm assuming is going to be that double sub.
Yeah, it was a double sub with Elif
So
Shaheen as the second
yeah,
setter.
so it's very much kind of like who does Turkey go with? And I really love Santarelli's been doing this. Like he starts one and gives the double sub to the other. Ultimately, I think it's a really good position. We haven't seen any of like either one of them go on the left side yet.
That's what I'm kind of wanting to see. I kind of want to see Karakurt on the left. I want to see how it goes. Like that was what all the talk in the offseason when Santarelli got hired was what is he going to do with the wing, with the two opposites, and everyone was saying that we were going to see Karakurt on the left, and we haven't really seen it yet this VNL. I think there are some matchups where it'll be worth it to try it out, and we just haven't seen it yet, so worth keeping an eye on. But I also, at the same time, I do kind of like the occasional 6-2 usage, because you can start either opposite, like legitimately start either one and bring the other off the bench here and there and get almost double-digit points, like you said, out of Vargas this time. And then next match, maybe start Vargas, bring Karakurt off the bench, and give her 15 balls and see what she can do. Like I don't hate that either. So
yeah,
I trust Santarelli, to say the least.
If there's anyone we trust, it is Santarelli.
That's right.
But Vargas so far with 116 points, Karakurt with 75.
That's a lot. That's a lot for two people to play the same position.
Yeah, and they both lead Turkey in scoring. So
yeah.
It's very, very interesting just to watch that kind of play out. And apparently Luke is saying in the chat that Karakurt did play on the left in week 1 of
in the Poland game, or we'll talk about the Poland game in a minute. That happened overnight. That actually is going to be cool to break down a little bit. And let's see. Yeah, sure enough, she did play outside hitter overnight. So ask and we shall receive on that one. Anything about the Netherlands? I mean, there's no way they're going to make the playoffs, but they're a core team, so they're going to be just fine in terms.
Yeah, exactly. We said it in our this is a young team. They don't have many of their starters. They're resting a lot of them, really giving it a chance for the young ones to go out there and get some experience. So I would expect to see them at the bottom of the table at the end of every week, at the end of all of this.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, moving on to Wednesday's games in Brazil. Germany beat Thailand 3-1. Not a good performance from Thailand at all.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
It pisses me off too, because why couldn't they play like that against us?
Yeah, looking at it now with like Thailand's numbers, 21 offensive errors in total in 4 sets is really bad. 25% efficiency, not great serving, decent reception, but Germany looks low-key kind of good. Hannah Orthman at opposite is a move. Actually, wait, no. Hannah Orthman at outside hitter this time. It was Lena Alsmeyer at opposite. So they've really been moving that position around. Alsmeyer on the right actually wasn't very good. Stigro at outside was outstanding. 12 for 23, 0 errors. That's brilliant. But to be led in scoring by both your middles, Camila Weitzel with 17 is big time. And then let's see, who's the other one? Marie Schultz with 14. Like 12 for 25 and 13 for 24 for your middles is
49
crazy.
sets. 49 sets to the middle.
Crazy.
And I mean, this is very much kind of what we saw for the men's team from the men's team just now in Ottawa, is that they got a good pass, they were going to the middle.
Love it.
And to me, it's hard to believe that they got this many good passes off of Thailand. But looking at their passing numbers, they're 67% positive, 25% perfect. That's really, really good numbers there in passing from Germany. I wonder if there's anything to do with the fact that you do have, like, who was on the right here? It was Stigroth?
No, it was Alsmeyer, which was a little bit different. I expected Orthman to start at opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't in reception. She only passed 4 balls. So I was wondering if they're kind of doing like a bit of a hybrid three outside system where you released others for the back row, but no, they just went straight up and they were able to pass on. So good for them. Yeah,
I mean, that, like you said, that much volume, 49 balls to the middle in 4 sets is crazy. That's insane, and I love it. That's like 12 attempts per set on average, which is huge, and I really like it. I mean, I was a middle. I love that stuff. Yeah, 54% for Weitzel, 36% efficiency for Schultzel, and then 13 blocks as a team for Germany. That is, I gotta say, great coaching by Vital Heinen, using his matchup advantages and just running that ball down the throats of Thailand through the middle as much as they could.
This is where Heinen, I think, just really excels. Like, he's not good at managing egos and all of this stuff, but he's really, really good at working with a team that's a bit of like has a bit of a worksman or a worksperson, approach, and just kind of let's just get down and dirty and let's just get into it. So I kind of really like this. Germany looking good right now.
They do look good. As for like roster news for these two teams, it's basically the same as week one. Thailand is identical, and Germany, all they have is a different second opposite. So nothing really to talk about here. Last but not least for Wednesday, Brazil 3-dong Korea. No shit.
That's all we have. That's honestly all we have to say.
Korea's bad, but Brazil roster wise, we do have to talk about because still no Gabi, and Ana Cristina got hurt in practice, so she is out this week. That is not good. However, Rosa Maria is back. Thaisa is back in the middle. They bring in Roberta as the second setter because Macris in week one was not good at all. Was quite the topic of conversation and like amongst the Brazilian community and amongst the Discord is just as Everett was calling her maybe the second best setter in the world after the club season. She was not good at all week one. But I mean, of course, Brazil's going to beat Korea 3-0, even though set one was 31-29. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's just the long club season, right? Like it's going to catch up to you at a certain point.
Sure. Yes, man. Brazil's outside hitter numbers, like pre-De Ruyt, 6 for 16, 5 errors. That's bad. Julia Bergman was better, but like without Gabi and Ana Cristina, they might not have all that good of a week at home. And we didn't see Rosa Maria hardly at all. I know that she actually can play both wings. She can play on the left a little bit. They might need her to do that this week.
Yeah, maybe.
So enough said. We don't need to talk about Korea at all. Let's move on to the matches that happened overnight, Everett, and overnight on Thursday. First and foremost, this is actually a match that I was able to stay up and watch a little bit of. Canada took care of Bulgaria in hour and shower fashion. A good, quick 3-donging, 25, like 15, 13, 15? Not even close. Yeah, 15, 13, 15. Beat down.
Honestly, I think this is a massive bounce back for Canada. And I really, really like this win. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I'm going to do that after this show. But being able to bounce back after getting 3-donged by China and really bringing it to Bulgaria, like these are the matches that we need to win. Right, these are the matches that we need to win against other challenger teams, and not only did we do that, but we won that decisively. Like Kira Van Rijk, 12 for 19, 58% efficiency. That's fantastic. Alexa went 9 for 19 as well. Hillary Howe, who's really been solid, 9 for 18 with no errors, didn't get blocked at all. Also, 13 blocks for Team Canada in 3 sets is massive. 4 aces as well. You love to see that. You love to see that just all-encompassing domination. But really a bad look on the other side of the net for Bulgaria.
Bulgaria's bad. They're really bad. And I watched the first 2 sets of this game last night as before I went to bed because I didn't bother watching the third set. It wasn't close. Shannon Windsor was even talking about, yes, we dominated the serving game. Bulgaria was never in system, which allowed them to dominate the blocking game. And Bulgaria is not a good serving team, so Canada was mostly in system and ran a good offense. Like this was a good team who has potential to make the playoffs against a really bad team who has potential to get relegated. These two teams are in completely different tiers of world volleyball right now. This game was never even close, and it was exactly the convincing style win for Canada that you wanted to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it keeps us nicely on that 500 pace. That's what we want to see from this team, especially when you look at the next 2 matches that are going to be 2 big matches. Turkey, we always play tough, right? And especially now in this new era of Guidetti, it's going to be interesting. And then the Dominican Republic after that. So 2 big matches. So it's really nice to get a good win here for good confidence heading into those big ones.
Yep, this was a beat down. Now, the match that I think has been the single most interesting matchup and match that's happened so far this week is this one that happened overnight. I was personally shocked to wake up and learn that Poland 3-donged Turkey extremely surprised. Poland is 6-0, 25-22, 25-20, 30-28. And like our people were saying in the chat, we saw Abrar Karakurt start on the left, and it did not go very well. Also, Hande Baladin, negative efficiency. So Vargas was terrific, 21 for 43, 42% efficiency. That is phenomenal. The middles were perfectly fine as usual, but the outside hitter position for Turkey, not good at all.
She didn't pass terribly, Karakurt. Like they
were good, but
it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
No, she was definitely, they were definitely going at her. She had 31 targets. She was 32 positive, 13 perfect. That's all right, a little below the team average. But ultimately, she just didn't look good offensively on the left side. 8 for 21 with 3 errors, 24% efficiency for Turkey. And Turkey really not looking great so far in the Gudetti era.
The Santarelli.
No, sorry, the Santarelli era. I apologize.
Yeah, what's cool about these two teams? I mean, Turkey and Poland have developed quite a rivalry over the past couple of years. I mean, there was an Olympic qualifier or like a Eurovolley qualifier, I think it was, that I remember that was insane. That they've run into each other a lot the past couple of years, and I think that Poland and Turkey are both. I would say they're both in kind of the same tier in global volleyball right now, where they're both in that sort of next team up sort of spot. They're both like
absolutely
trying to punch into that contender category behind, like, USA, Brazil, Serbia, Italy, and then like maybe I would say there's two different tiers right below that. There's China, Japan, who are always good but are rarely gonna punch up and try to be medalists, but they've kind of been there for a while. Then you've got Poland and Turkey, who are about at the same level of ability, but are really teams that are on the rise and are trying to start beating the teams ranked above them. But Poland, it seems to me, has kind of owned the Turkey rivalry, at least recently. And for them to start 6-0, this VNL is really impressive without the best setter in the world even. And it wasn't even because Magdalena Stysiak was all that good. I mean, 15 for 30, 33% efficiency is, like, I'd say kind of average. But the outside hitters combined, Łukasik and Rozhansky, both pretty good. The middles, Jurczyk and Korneluk, both extremely good.
Korneluk has been really, really good. She's been super solid, really good offensively, 7 for 11. I would almost want to see more volume go her way. And she's touching a lot of balls, 4 blocked balls, 4 touches. And I mean, those touches, just from seeing kind of how they're popping up and how block stats are being done, watching the game in Ottawa, then looking at the stats after a set, I mean, like, this doesn't really match up. I'm willing to bet that she had more touches than just the 4. She's been absolutely dominant, and kind of, to me, like, even in the club season, she's been really good, but she's starting to get creep into, like, where does she rank on the middle scale? Like, she's definitely the best middle that Poland has. I don't know if she's up there with the Stevanoviches and those ones quite yet, but she's definitely making a case for herself.
She's not even close to that tier, in my opinion. She's really big, but I think she's really slow. However, has had a really good VNL so far. I mean, she's using that size matchup and is taking her chances in offense and creating separation, putting some balls away. I do like Jurczyk a lot, the other middle blocker for Poland. She's a little smaller, a lot faster, a lot more dynamic, and she went 7 for 8. So
she is currently the best blocker in VNL, and it's not even close. She has 24. Yeah, she has 24 blocks, and the next group of people have 16. So she's leading the VNL by 8 blocks.
Yeah, that's rock solid. Poland's had a great blocking tournament so far. 6 in 3 sets here against Turkey. I really want to go back and watch this one. I mean, this was overnight in Hong Kong, and this is a big kind of storyline defining match for these two teams and sort of for the whole contender category of teams in the VNL. So I'm excited to go catch up on this match, but big one for Poland. 6-0. I think there are only 3 undefeated teams left in VNL right now. Poland, China, and the United States. So
Poland,
very
China,
impressive.
USA. Although Poland they do have a game up on those teams, but Poland has has 17 points. China sitting at 14, USA only at 12.
Yeah, USA has played a lot of 5-setters. Poland has been. Yeah. I mean, Poland's been the best team in the tournament so far.
Yeah, if we're going by actually, sitting in 5th. Both Brazil and Turkey have more points but less wins.
I mean, they've also played more games. So let's move on from this one. Last but not least, just about 30 minutes before we started the show today, I was able to catch just the end of Italy beating the Dominican Republic in 5, 15-10 in the fifth. And what the Discord was saying was that the Dominican Republic should have had this. They won sets 2 and 3 easily, and it sounded like they kind of choked it away in the fourth. It sounded like this should have been a Dominican Republic win in 4, and I'm gonna go like scroll back through the scores here. Like, did DR have a lead? Yeah, it was. Let's see, it was 20-20 at least, 21-21, 22-22. Oh, ouch! And then they gave up a 3-0 run to lose it. And then they lost it in the fifth. That's not great. This was a nice chance for DR to beat an Italian B team and pick up a big win, but didn't happen for them. So I watched the fifth set. I can't make any more conclusions than that, but I guess Italy's B team strategy is continuing to work out for them this week.
I could see that DR should have maybe won this match, but they also made a lot of errors. 14 hitting errors, and they got blocked 13 times.
Ouch.
So that's a lot. But they passed decently well. They only got aced once, but at the end of the day, Italy walks away with this one. Walker, pretty damn good. She's definitely someone to watch. I remember Tommy Blizzard telling me about her in our pre Superliga preview for the women, and she really hasn't disappointed, especially with the national team.
This is a block fest. 13 blocks for Italy, 16 blocks for the Dominican Republic. Those are very significant blocking numbers. Not to mention
22 touch balls for the Dominican Republic.
I'm not gonna even think about that block touch stat in these stat sheets because I don't think it means anything. I don't think we should even continue bringing it up until we know what a touch is. Because if you're counting every ball that's touched, like there's no way that you only touch 22 balls on a block in a game. So
yeah, I would like expanded blocking stats where there's like plus and minus blocks. A plus block that goes back on your side, and then you're able to recycle, or like a minus block where you're tooled, or it goes back to the other side.
Right, exactly. So I'm not going to look at that stat column really at all this tournament. Genieri Martinez in the middle, 12 for 16 for the Dominican Republic, really good, but their wings were not very efficient. Isabel Pena, 15%. Brylin Martinez, 14 for 42, 17%. And then Senida Gonzalez Lopez, 11 for 35, 9%. So not at all good on the wings for DR, and that is kind of where they need to score because that's their play style. Their play style is to, in sort of Cuban Caribbean overall fashion, is chuck high balls to the wings and see how it goes. And
just score in bunches and ride that wave. Ride that wave of emotions.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the Italian stats. I mean, Nuakalor, good volume, 21 points, but not great efficiency. Miriam Silla, okay, 15 for 36, 28%. Like, not really any great individual performances. I wouldn't say either of these two teams, at least as they're currently constructed, are all that good or that are have great playoff chances right now. I mean, Italy is in 9th, Dominican Republic in 11th, and if Italy makes the playoffs, they're going to have to bring a much better team to have a chance to do anything. I haven't loved what I've seen from either of these two teams so far.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like the women's side is way weirder just because of, as you said, how many of the teams are bringing B teams. Like, we just don't know what's up with so many of them, right? We don't know what they look like, and I mean, it's great for Canadians, it's great for your Americans. You guys are doing well so far at 5-0. We're sitting pretty at 3-3, but still a lot of question marks around this VNL so far.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's kind of what makes it fun. Like even the men's side is similarly weird because of the B teams that some of the really good teams sent week 1, but I expect that to shake out a little bit more clearly than the women's side right now. Like that middle of the pack on the women's side is from places like maybe 6 through 10 or 11, and we'll look at the standings in a bit. But that all those teams that are hovering around 500 right now are really competitive, and the playoff race is going to be really fun. So that is it for matches that have happened so far in week 2. And before we preview kind of the rest of the week, I think it's time to talk about 2 very important things. The first one is that volleyball story. Everett, let the people know.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you guys check us out at thatvolleyball.store where you can get all of your merch needs and your gear. Use the code SPICY to get 15% off. I know I had some people, a big shout out to our buddy Ryan, aka Two Jacks, who was repping some of the gear, and Joe, of course, too. Joe was repping some gear. Jan was repping some gear. Two Jacks, Ryan was repping some gear, and somebody saw one of the shirts. If you know online, I was like, yo, I love that. And I had basically someone, our buddy Dario, who volunteers for Volleyball Canada, showed me his phone. He's like, "Yo, you should check out this gear." And I was like looking at it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is my merch." Like
Literally our store.
and then he wanted deals on it, and I was like, "What's going on?" So just so you know, Shoji has been requesting some. Stephen Marr has been requesting some. So this is in hot demand, guys. Like
That's right.
You need to go check it out. So make sure you use the code SPICY for 15% off of thatvolleyball.store.
I've even got mine on today, Everett. You probably can't see me because our screens on the
I can actually see you. I can actually see you today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it does look good. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I know. It started off real bad, but it's really picked up since then.
Excellent. Our software has taken a turn for the better. It still, at least looks good on YouTube. Yeah, I've got the spicy volleyball logo. A bunch of you saw and commented on my laptop stickers when we were in Ottawa, and I do have a big fat spicy volleyball sticker on there, front and center, which is great. So all of that you can pick up on that volleyball.store. And then Everett, I'm very pleased to announce the triumphant return of Where's Daddy. I missed Where's Daddy. The one thing that we couldn't do when we were live in Ottawa is hide Daddy Stankovic in our various assets during our shows, just because we didn't have any. We were live the whole time on camera, so it's back. Daddy Stankovic is hidden somewhere in this episode, and if you find him and you comment where he is, the timestamp of where he is on the in the comments after the show is over,
yes,
then you get a shout out on the next week's show. So actually I need right now to go all the way back to the last episode of the 9x9 that we did before Ottawa, and here it is. And I need to find who.
Honestly, I thought about just like setting up a Where's Daddy a few times in Ottawa, but we were doing so much already that like there's no way. Imagine if we had do two Where's, like, no.
Oh, no,
just been too much.
There was no way we could have hidden Daddy Stankovic much of anywhere with the setup as it was in Ottawa. But it's good to be back hiding Daddy Stankovic in various places. The last show we did was during Women's Week 1 of VNL before we went to Ottawa. Here was the asset where Daddy Stankovic is. He is hidden there on the Polish libero's face. So lovely. We had a couple people in the comments get it pretty much immediately. Actually, I think our friend Jana XOXO 2093 was first to comment where Daddy Stankovic was.
Nice. A new one on the board.
Yeah, followed very quickly by Bassi Lassie and Kiro Neri, our usual suspects for Where's Daddy. So congratulations to you on finding Daddy Stankovic. Reminder that Daddy may have already shown up in this show. He may show up later on in the show. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell Everett either. That's the fun part. But if you find him, comment where he is. The timestamp after the show is over, and you'll get a shout out next week.
Joe in the chat is, I may just come with a daddy fat head and hold it up somewhere. How funny it would be is if we just showed up to Vienna. Even like not only is like daddy, like how funny would it have been if she was there, because like daddy wasn't there, but neither was Serbia. And if it was just like a Dragan Stankovic daddy fat head in the crowd, that would have been amazing. I definitely think we need to do that.
I think we should do that. Just print a big old Daddy Stankovic sign and just have it say Daddy.
Well, when we go to Norceca's, we just like a fat head that just kind of sits behind us and like looms over us.
I like it. I mean, some of you guys saw my interview with Max Holt and Taylor Averill from the USA, which was an all-time great volleyball interview when Taylor Averill brought up how many daddies there were on the team. I made the Instagram edit, like the edit I put on Instagram. I did, in fact, superimpose Daddy Stankovic when he said that. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, that's enough for Where's Daddy. You know it. You love it. The segment is back now that we're back to our normal 9x9 setup. Comment where he is when you find Daddy Stankovic. Let's look forward to the rest of this week, Everett. First and foremost, the match is later on tonight in Brazil. We've got the United States taking on Thailand. Japan versus Korea. That'll be a 3-dong, no problem. And then a pretty good one, Brazil versus Serbia, both of whom have had underwhelming tournaments so far. Brazil playing at home, missing a lot of players. Serbia missing a couple key players as well. What are your picks for these 3 games?
Well, especially with the way that Thailand's been playing recently, USA has been dominating. I'm going for a USA 3-down.
Love it.
I just think they just have the ability to take over. I mean, the same thing in Japan. That's not even a question. Korea, you suck. Get out of
Terrible.
here.
Thanks for participating.
You're absolutely terrible. And I'm actually going to go Serbia 3-1.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why. That is honestly just a gut feeling. Because even as I say it, I'm like, Brazil's playing at home. Serbia doesn't have dirt, all this stuff. But I think Serbia's kind of feeling themselves here. And I feel like Guidetti just manages emotional games well. So
he is an emotional guy. I think his team kind of goes as he goes, but
exactly.
sometimes he is good in those situations. I agree. I'm really worried about Brazil's outside hitter spot. Like without Gabi, without Ana Cristina, I have faith in Julia Bergman, but past that, I think they're really going to struggle at that position. I could see this being like a weird, sloppy game, but I will give it to Brazil in 5 on home court advantage alone. So I am going to go with Brazil despite the less than impressive start to VNL that they've kind of had.
I just think that Serbia is more used to playing without their superstars.
That is true. They are.
And Serbia is kind of just like that. Whereas Brazil, like they really rely on Gabi, and they really rely on people like Ana Cristina. So we're gonna have to see maybe if it's Kissy, maybe it's Julia Bergman. Like we need someone to step up for Brazil and big for them at home.
Yeah, I expect a Rosa Maria game. I have a feeling that she's going to have a big impact on one of the 2 wings. I'm not sure which. Yeah, we've got a couple other people agreeing with you in the comments, Everett, that they kind of like Serbia tonight. So I'm curious to see that. It's I mean, the nice part about the Brazil games is that they're prime time for us here in North America. That's 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, Brazil versus Serbia.
Yeah, I wish I could watch that because that would be prime time for me, but I gotta work. I'll definitely be able to tune into USA Thailand, but that's about it.
Yep, USA Thailand 1 p.m. Eastern, Japan versus Korea, don't bother, and Brazil versus Serbia 8 p.m. That is.
I mean, if you're a Japanese fan and you want to see them beat up on Korea, then absolutely by all means watch that game.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously people are going to watch their own teams. We don't need to tell people when their own teams' games are, but if you're a neutral fan and just want to watch good volleyball, don't watch Japan versus Korea. Don't bother.
It won't be good.
Nope.
And then do we want to talk about what's going on overnight as well? Because
definitely
some fun matches. Canada versus Turkey later on tonight. I think this is a big one. Canada's had some good results against Turkey. It is going to be a slugfest. It's really going to be a slugfest. If Turkey can pass really well, then we might struggle. But if it gets into a high ball game, I almost like Canada in this one. But like when you think about Alexa, like Hillary Howe and Alexa Gray have both been having tournaments. Kira Vek is someone who knows the Turkish system very, very well. Same thing with Emily Maglio in the middle. I think this one is actually going to be a pretty good one. I really do think it will be. I mean, maybe I'll be up probably just in time from work to be able to catch this one. So I'm excited for it.
1:30 in the morning Eastern time tonight. So that's like the first quote unquote Friday game over there in Hong Kong. I mean, Canada did beat Turkey in VNL last year. That is worth pointing out. And I agree. I think Canada's got a couple pretty good high ball scorers. Turkey has Melissa Vargas, who's better than anybody on the Canadian roster. But I think the key matchup here is Turkey's outside hitter, outside hitters, plural. That's no surprise. We see that all the time. But if Windsor can really get the girls to pick on probably Hande Baladine and then whoever the second outside hitter is, if they can get those players into a revolving door substitution situation, if they can get Baladine into having a bad game, they can get it to where every ball's going to Vargas. I mean, she's going to get hers. Obviously, she's world class. But if they can take the middle out of the game a little bit, it'll come down to serving and passing for Canada for sure, like we saw in their first 2 games this week. This will be competitive, but I'm sorry, Everett, I do have to pick Turkey here. I'm going to go 3-1.
I think that, as you said, we have the high ball hitters, and I think we actually like Alexa Gray is better than their left side.
I agree with that.
And Hillary Howe is in that kind of in that same area and ranking as Paladin and others. So I think both teams are going to struggle with serving and blocking in this one. You're right. Melissa Vargas is going to tee off, and she's going to have Melissa Vargas is going to have a 20-point game.
Easy.
But I bet you we're going to see a really, really good job from Alexa and from Kira. And if Bree can run the middles a little bit, I think that's also where we're going to have some success. But I just have a good gut feeling right now for Team Canada in this one. I really do. If we could pick up a win here against Turkey and go over 500, that would be fantastic. And
okay.
I honestly think it can happen. I think it can. I think the big question mark will be that M2 position. Will we be going with Alicia Ogums or will we be going with Lane Van Busker, who actually just signed to play for Busto next year?
Yeah, big contract there.
Which is a big contract. It's awesome. Love having loving another player in one of the top leagues. But the libero position, how will one of the young liberos, react and play in this game?
Probably Julia Merman, right?
I don't know, because as much as I really I think Julia Merman might be a little bit more polished than Ariel Palermo, but I think that Ariel Palermo might be a little bit more tenacious, and just like her attitude, she's a go-getter for sure and likes that fight. I'm not saying that Merman doesn't, but just my notion of Palermo is that she's always just been kind of like just kind of a bulldog. So I think that Turkey as a team is another emotional team that you're having to fight against. And I think that Palermo might be the one to go with. But that's just completely, once again, on my gut feeling. I haven't asked any of the coaches or anything about it.
Okay. Yeah, looking forward to that game. I think that's probably the best game of the Friday slate, and the one that if we stay up late enough tonight, we'll be able to watch it. Poland versus the Netherlands. I think that should be Poland's game, no problem. Bulgaria versus China. That'll be China 3-dong. Japan versus Germany is a Friday early afternoon in Brazil. That actually is low-key a good game. Germany's been playing pretty well, and a fascinating style matchup against Japan. If Germany can run the middle again, as much as they did in that last game against Thailand, then we could really be looking at something here.
As much as I think Germany is going to do well in this game, I also think that Japan is a team that bounces back.
Agreed.
Right? And I think Japan serves tougher than Thailand did against them. Thailand, yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to serve tougher. I think they're going to play better defense as well. And to me, it's hard to get Japan to lose 2 games in a row. And I think that they view the Germany game as a winnable one. So I expect to see Japan succeed in this one. I'm going to go Japan 3-1. I really want to say 3-0, but I don't know if a $3 is going to happen. So yeah, I'm going to say Japan 3-1 in this one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if if Germany can pass the ball well enough to keep up that middle strategy against Japan. Japan is basically Thailand, but slightly better in every area. I think that's kind of fair. And so I would
say more than slightly. I would say they're better in every area.
They're significantly better. Yeah. And then the most vomit-inducing game probably of the entire tournament: Korea versus Croatia. Blech.
Yeah, keep it moving.
Awful.
Keep it moving. Yeah,
Serbia,
we don't need to say anything about
not
that.
at all. Serbia versus Thailand later that night. These graphics here are a little bit wacky because the time zones this week are very strange. Serbia versus Thailand is Friday night in Brazil. I think that's probably Serbia's. But then Saturday early morning, we get the Dominican Republic versus Canada, a very fun Norceca rivalry.
Yeah, that one's going to be another really, really big one for Team Canada. Canada finished out the World Championships last year by beating the Dominican Republic. And, of course, it's a massive, massive Norceca rivalry as well. So that's why I said, these 2 games coming up for Canada are going to be some of the most important, just to kind of see where we're at. Because, I think Turkey, Dominican Republic, that's the kind of area that this team wants to be in. A team that makes the playoffs and a team that is relevant on the world stage. But, it, of course, isn't amongst the elite just yet. So I really think that these are 2 of the big ones. And even more so that Canada, Dominican Republic one to finish off, just because Oh man, I just love that rivalry so much.
Very fun rivalry.
And it's something that we're going to see later on in the summer as well at the Norceca Championships up in Quebec City at Laval, which our friends from Montreal and Quebec City were promising Rob beers if he showed up to that event. So I don't know, Rob. Looks like you're gonna have to come to French Canada for the first time. And but yeah, I think this is a massive matchup for Team Canada. And even if we lose to Turkey, but we can beat Dominican Republic once again, finish the week 2-2, finish the week on a high note, and a big emotional win, we're sitting pretty. I really think so.
I hope so. It's certainly Dominican Republic is beatable. I do like that matchup a lot. We talked about it last year at the World Championship as sort of a passing of the torch moment as the second best Norceca team, as Canada has, at least in my opinion, kind of taken that spot as just a better all-around volleyball team right now. But if you catch the Dominican Republic on a good day, they can really bang balls with the best of them. So I'm excited to watch that. Hopefully I stay up late enough. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that Canada is going to have the ability to stay patient and let the Dominican make some errors, right? And still put enough pressure on where we're able to push through and score some points, but also just kind of let them make some errors. That's what I hope, anyways. That's my hope for it all.
I'm sure it is. The Netherlands versus Italy after that Saturday in Hong Kong. That could probably be pretty sloppy and gross. Don't really know how to pick that one. But then Poland versus China. Battle of two undefeated teams right now. And if we assume that China will beat Bulgaria on Friday, which they definitely will, that'll be a huge game. That's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.
That'll be the big game so far, VNL.
Probably, yeah.
I think that would be definitely the biggest game so far at VNL. I'm very, very interested to see how that goes down, especially because it's two very contrasting styles. China with the good ball control and leading, swinging on the ball as the way she is, versus Poland being one of the bigger teams in the competition. So that is a very, very, very intriguing game matchup for me.
Yeah, China also is really underrated in the middle. I find that their middles are actually pretty good, and so that middle matchup against Poland is going to be fun. Stysiak versus Li Yingying, like straight across the net from one another, is going to be fun. That is, and then in Hong Kong of all places, I like that match a lot. It's going to be the best, like other than any USA matches. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most this VNL so far. 8:30 in the morning Eastern on Saturday. Ooh, I don't know how to pick it. I'm kind of feeling Poland. Keeps it rolling.
I'm going the other way, actually. I'm going China.
Okay.
I think China will be able to control their game with the ball control and really put Poland in some tough positions. And I think there are also some smart hitters there around that Chinese team too. So I'm going to go the opposite. I think it's going to be China 3-1.
Okay, I'll take Poland 3-1. We'll see what happens. Later on Saturday over in Brazil, we've got Brazil versus Germany. We've got Japan versus the United States. And we've got Serbia versus Croatia, which is like just past, I think, midnight GMT, so it doesn't show up on this graphic here. But good games there. Brazil versus Germany. I mean, Brazil is kind of a question mark right now, and Germany kind of looks good. United States versus Japan, that's a matchup we always do decently well in. So I like our chances there. And then Serbia will beat Croatia, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil versus Germany, I do expect Brazil to take that one, especially at home, especially since I'm expecting to lose the other one against Serbia. I think they're going to bounce back nicely. But also just Brazil at home is always tough. And Germany, I just don't think they have the mental fortitude to play it against that much like a Serbian team does. We've seen it kind of be there. USA versus Japan, I agree. USA all the way. I don't think there's many teams that I would pick USA against right now in general. And then Serbia versus Croatia, is that the other one that we're looking at? That's not even a conversation.
Nope.
Serbia's going to pull out the bench for that.
Absolutely. Okay. Last but not least, Sunday we've got Serbia Croatia is Saturday night in Brazil, but it's just past midnight Sunday GMT. Bulgaria, Netherlands, yawn. Dominican Republic, Turkey. That should be Turkey, no problem. Italy versus.
I disagree with that.
Really?
I think this. Oh, absolutely. I think that there's, that's two teams that love to bang the ball. I think that one's going to be really interesting. I think Dominican Republic's going to win. I think that they have way too much firepower everywhere, And like I said, for against Canada, Turkey has some players that can put some pressure on, aka Melissa Vargas, but it's not consistent through the lineup, right? You don't have consistent like tough serving. You other than Melissa Vargas, like you don't have that much firepower on this team. I think this one is going to be a sloppy fist fight. I really do. I think this one is going to be a sloppy fist fight, and I think the Dominican Republic is going to win. I think first of all, I think they're going to be a little incensed because they're just going to have lost to Canada, which they don't like. But I think like when you look at how high powered this Dominican Republic team, how all of their outsides can swing, if they have Brenda in there as well, like this is a team that can play with the best, and PK isn't playing best volleyball right now. So, and like also like if there's one team that A can handle Melissa Vargas and B is like frothing at the mouth to play Melissa Vargas in a Turkey uniform, it's the Dominican Republic, because they're like that's Caribbean rivalry. That's what they're used to. So yeah, I'm picking Dominican Republic in this one, absolutely 3-1.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Great points. Yeah, whatever. Turkey 3-0. Turkey 3-0.
So dumb. You're going to go over a 3. There's no way. There's no
Turkey
way.
3-0. Zara Gunesh and Ada Erdem are going to have 8 blocks each. Melissa Vargas is going to have double-digit aces.
They're not.
This is a 3-dong.
No.
This is a 3-dong. You heard it here first. I will.
Somebody clip this out, and we're going to wait until the next show on Monday after this one, just to see who's right, because I disagree with that completely.
Turkey 3-0.
Does Turkey have any 3-0 wins so far this tournament? Okay, yeah, they beat the Netherlands, but
write it down in Sharpie marker. Turkey 3-0.
No. You're just right now. You're pandering.
I am not. I am not.
You are pandering to our Turkish fans.
Absolutely not. There's nobody who likes to make fun of the Turkish fans more than me. Trust me. I ran a show on the CEV channel and got yelled at by Turkish people for 2 straight years. Turkey.
Yeah. See, already you're getting the Turkish fans in the chat backing you up. But,
I do not pander, Everett. That is not my style. Turkey 3-0. Moving on. China versus Italy. I've got China 3-0 against Italy's B team.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to Brazil. Brazil versus the United States is the early game on Sunday afternoon. That I think is kind of interesting schedule-wise, being that it's
they've always done that though. They've always done that, dude. They used to have World League games in Brazil. World League versus Brazil versus USA at 11 a.m.
Yikes!
Like, they love Brazilian volleyball loves especially on the weekends. They love like a midday game. Very much like Japan, like that. Apparently in Japan, like the V League, most of the games are just played in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, Brazil versus the USA is always a classic. However, I can't remember the last time we lost to Brazil. We pretty routinely beat Brazil. Did we play them? So we lost. We didn't play them at the World Championship last year, at least not in the bracket. I'm struggling to remember. We obviously killed them in the Olympic gold medal game. Like destroyed them in the Olympic gold medal game. Wasn't even close. Yeah. Then without Gabby, without Ana Cristina, I don't care that it's in Brazil. I've got the United States. I've got us 3-1 on Sunday afternoon. Sunday.
Yeah, I got that.
Sunday morning, really. It's like 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, let's
that is early.
See. Oh, I can't. It's not pulling up on the schedule that I'm looking at. But yeah, you're right. I fully agree with that. I don't know if without their guys, like it's really interesting to see that Brazil sat all of their best teams, all of their best players at home. Like that's just a head scratcher for me, all around. But yeah, like I don't see Brazil running with USA, even though the USA doesn't have their horses. The USA is a system-based team, and you can kind of just bring in people in and out as they go. So yeah, I'm with that with the USA 3-1.
We've got a point in the chat when Brazil's best TV, like most successful TV broadcasts for some reason are at 10 a.m. and that's exactly when this game is going to be. So that's interesting, but kind of cool. A nice little morning sports game, whatever. Then the last 2 games on Sunday: Thailand versus Croatia, Germany versus Korea. Don't bother. Don't waste your time.
Definitely not worth there.
So that's it. That is week 2 for the VNL women. Let's take a look at the standings right now before we get out of here. Like we said, that this is up to the moment. We still got 3 games going on in Brazil this afternoon. Poland, China, and the United States are undefeated. Brazil 4-1, 4-1. Turkey 4-2, both with decent point volume. Germany 4-1, but a handful of 5-set wins in there, so only 11 points. Japan and Canada right now rounding out that top 8. But that race for those 2, maybe 3 playoff spots is going to be very spicy.
Yeah, I think for the Dominican Republic, these next few games are going to be really, really important. Right now, they're 2 points behind Thailand, despite having the same amount as wins, but have played more games. So if they lose the next few games, and depending how they go, I think that separation is going to happen, and they're going to be, with that bottom group down there. But yeah, like I think that division between Thailand, there's really not separating much from Thailand to Germany. Only 4 points.
No, I agree.
2 wins as well, but Japan, Canada, Italy, all teams that are going to be fighting hard. I still think there's a good chance to see Canada in that in that top 8 final. I
agree. I think that's very possible. It is definitely go time for Serbia. If Serbia wants to make the playoffs, they need to start to figure it out right now. They need to beat Brazil today, in my opinion. They are currently 1-4 with only 4 points. That is not good enough. And then the relegation position, I think it is extremely clear right now that Croatia will be relegated. I would be stunned if they got any points whatsoever. I mean, well, maybe they beat Korea. I think they do play them this week. But even Bulgaria right now has 5 points. There's no way Croatia is getting to 5 points. No way. I think I would be stunned if Croatia did not get relegated.
Yeah, it's really weird that they do all this work to get in here and haven't really done anything. I mean, I do think that they have some big matchups for them coming up. Like they have Korea, so that's going to be easy 3 points for them.
Is it? Croatia's bad. Like I know Korea's like among the worst we've ever seen, but
Croatia's at least won a set.
Okay, congratulations.
I'm just saying, it's more than Korea. Korea has nothing. They're 5-0 with 3-3 dongs. So
5-3 dongs. Yeah, they're Korea's bad. Dongs, yeah. Korea's very bad. I agree, but Korea versus Croatia is a vomit-inducing game. I think it's very clear Croatia's going to get relegated. There's no way they're going to get to 5 points. Dominican Republic, no, yeah, they're not going to get relegated. Canada's safe. I think Germany's safe. Poland's obviously safe. Like this is I think that picture is pretty clear. But yeah, the race for the playoffs. I mean, Poland, China, Brazil, Turkey, United States. I think those 5 are definitely going to get in. But Germany, Japan, Canada in there right now, I don't know. I think that Japan is good enough to get in. I think that Germany, Canada, maybe Italy, and then maybe Serbia and come from behind fashion are going to be really fighting for those spots. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun race to watch this week.
Yeah, especially Serbia kind of hanging out below, like in 13th right now. That's always a team that can just pop up and make
sleep on them. Don't sleep
exactly.
on them.
You don't want to sleep on them. So it really is going to be a race to the finish. I think a 500 record will get you to the playoffs.
Probably. It probably will, because there's going to be so many teams that are just so bad that there is a great chance that 500 will get you there. I actually think last year, I think there was a 5-7 team. I think Thailand went 5-7 last year and made the playoffs. So that's definitely possible. I think 500 is a good target.
I think you're right too. I know they made the playoffs, and I don't think that they were. Yeah, I think they were 5-7.
Yeah, maybe they had a couple bonus points from some 5-set losses, but I'm pretty sure they were 5-7 and made the playoffs. So yeah, that's the table as it stands right now, and I think that's our show. I think that's about it for week 2 of women's VNL. What are we thinking going forward, Everett? I think we would like to do Monday, Thursday, like kind of 2 shows a week.
Yeah, I think that's good. One to wrap up the week at hand, and then to preview the next week for the opposite gender, and then another one to in midweek just to kind of go everything that's going on. Because if we leave it to the end of the week, there's just way too much to cover. Yeah. Also, you're right. Thailand did go 5-7. Dominican Republic also went 5-7. but Thailand had one more point than them. Germany, Netherlands, Canada, Poland, Bulgaria, Belgium all sat at 4 and 8
Yeah,
last
a
year.
lot of 4 and 8 teams last year.
But Belgium with 8 points up to Dominican and Germany Germany and Netherlands both with 14. So very interesting. Poland already more wins this year than they had last year.
Yeah, Poland looks awesome. So good for them. Poland, China, United States undefeated. We'll see if that holds up throughout the rest of this week. Poland and China do play each other head to head. Lots of good stuff. Lots of big games for Canada. A couple interesting games for my United States. And we will be back time TBD. But let's plan for a show on Monday. I think that would be great to catch up on the women's and preview men's week 2. I think it's going to be a good little cadence for us.
And what do we want to go during the day?
I'm cool with during the day. I kind of like during the day.
I kind of like during the day too. We got a lot more live viewers because our European and Asian friends can tune in.
Yeah, shout outs to our global Volleyball Source fandom. So make sure you're in the Volleyball Source Discord. That link is in the description. That is the best online volleyball community in the world. Make sure you follow us at the new Volleyball Source 2.0 Instagram. I need to change that on our little our template here, our backdrop, that we have the new Instagram account at Volleyball Source 2.0. Give that a follow. We've got some other good videos coming out here on the Volleyball Source YouTube channel. We're going to do a women's VNL draft like we did for the men's once we can get a scheduling figured out with a very special guest that will join us for that. And we filmed a video. We did a live video when we were in Ottawa last week that we haven't released yet. But we drafted our all-decade team from the 2010s on the men's side. And Everett, I made a nice thumbnail for that, and I've scheduled that to release tomorrow. So I think.
Ooh, I would hold out on that.
Really?
Yeah, let's wait until that.
I think we should give it to the people.
I mean, yeah, but we're still doing a lot of content right now, so why not hold until when we're not doing a lot of content?
I mean, all we did was one video this week. I think we slowed down quite a bit. I think it'll do good numbers. But
okay, I guess we can see. And then we could plan to do some other ones. Maybe you can do some NBA research over there, or would you rather do an all NFL team?
I don't think NFL players would translate to volleyball skill sets nearly as good as NBA players. I know enough about it.
Neither do I. I'm just catering to the only other sport you know.
I know lots of sports, and I know enough about the NBA to do a video on it. So let's do it.
Yeah, you sure? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Also,
right.
I can't wait for the people to vote on our all decades team list that we did. I smoked you.
There's no way you did. I don't even remember who we
smoked you in that
because
draft.
We drank way too many beers. And my short-term memory is just gone to shot after last week. There's no way you smoked me.
Oh,
there's no way.
I smoked you. The people will see.
Send me the list again.
You could find it. It's in the back end of our YouTube channel. It's very good video. I think you guys will enjoy it. So we'll be back on Monday with the 9x9. We'll figure out what time. I'm not against doing it at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. That was fine for me.
Why not let's just say for now like that we're going to go at 11 a.m. Eastern until. Unless anything else happens, then we'll let you guys know in the Discord and on socials and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say let's just keep it going with 11 a.m. for now.
Okay, well, let's lock it in. So we'll see you guys on Monday. We'll see you in the Volleyball Source Discord as well. Enjoy all the women's games this week, and keep it tuned here to the channel. Make sure you check out that volleyball.store, and make sure if you found Daddy Stankovic, he has shown up. Not going to tell you where, but if you found him, make sure you're ready to comment right after the stream is over where he's at.
Good to me.
All right. See you, people. Thanks for watching.
Peace.